Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang. On this segment of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang, I chatted with Proud Mary's creators Jennifer Paz and Anthony Fedorov. Prospect Musical's Ignite Festival and National Asian Artists Project are presenting Proud Mary's, a genre-bending new pop musical, in association with community partner Broadway Barkada on Sunday, March 29th at 3 p.m. and Monday, March 30th at 7 p.m. at BARUCH Performing Arts Center located at 55 Lexington Avenue in New York. Proud Mary's features book story and lyrics by Jennifer Paz, music and lyrics by Anthony Fedorov, music direction by Alexander Tom, direction and dramaturgy by Fran de Leon. Cast includes Joshua Carandang, Liz Casasola, Emmy Coligado, Andrew Cristi, Marc de Cruz, Diane Phelan, Shea, Renne, Sibal, Reuben, and Lito, Villareal. Today I'm at the NAMT Festival at New World Stages, and I'm sitting down with Jen Paz and her husband, Anthony Fedorov. They are collaborators on Proud Mary's, which was here at NAMT last year. Yes. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so I started off as a performer. I did the first national tour of Miss Saigon.
Who was the first national tour?
Raul Aranis.
Oh, okay. And he's a very dear friend.
Yeah, and then the late Kevin Gray.
Okay.
And then Alan Maroka.
Okay.
Those were our engineers. Yeah. And then I did a handful of original productions. All in total, I did the show from 1992 to 2014, 2013, when we did the North Shore production with the Tony Award winning Francis Jew as the engineer. Yeah, cool. So yeah, we had our son. Julian was like what, 8 months?
Yeah.
And he did a walk-on.
Yeah, he did. He made his first professional appearance without even knowing.
So that, I was like, 8 months postpartum, and that was my last production of Miss Saigon. So yeah, after years of performing, then I pivoted into writing. After I had Julian. So in the last decade. So Proud Mary's is loosely based on our journey as parents, and it was really inspired by a pregnancy loss that I had. There it is. And I really started writing the actual book of it around 2016 is when we had that miscarriage. But there's kind of like 3 parts. It first started off just as a TV writing sample.
Wow.
A half-hour non-musical sample, and the logline was about 3 daughters who shake up the strict traditions of the religious Filipino-American family when they all get knocked up out of wedlock at the same time.
Whoa!
I like to say it's like a Filipino-American Fiddler on the Roof meets 6. The music is pop. Well, so yeah, let me back up. So it started off just as a half-hour TV writing sample, and then that was like the writing sample that I would send out to different screenwriting competitions and mentorship programs. And at one point, I actually scrapped the idea after getting like really discouraging feedback, because I developed the script itself through blind submissions, which I love because they don't know who you are on the page. You can just be anything on the page, and then I would get back feedback, and I would implement the feedback in these in these screenwriting competitions. But after sort of a round of really discouraging feedback, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, and I trashed the whole idea. But then surprisingly, I ended up winning the inaugural Outstanding Screenplays TV Pilot competition. This was back in 2021. All Fil-Ams, and then we had a Filipino-American director, Maya Dreles, and then
who I adore.
Yes, and then
she's so brilliant.
Stephen Cuevas was our MD, and then our directing assistant was D.V. Cortez.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So 3 sisters: Emily Borromeo, Brene Abularia, and Rianne Acacio were the 3 daughters, and then we had 3 titas: Emmy Coligado, Joan Almadilia, and J.G. Macapugay. And then we had the men: Red Concepcion, Kevin Perdido, and Reuben Uy. All Fil-Am cast. The plot. So it takes place in 2013, present day 2013, and newly divorced, the eldest sister, Mary Frances, or Fran, she finds out that she's pregnant at her routine doctor's visit.
Mm-hmm.
And then her plans to share her news are derailed when her two younger unwed sisters also find out they're knocked up. So we have middle sister, a medical resident, and then the youngest daughter, who is a practicing accountant / influencer, also finds out they're knocked up. And the first act, all through first act, the eldest sister keeps her pregnancy a secret from everyone. As the eldest sister, she's just trying to like manage the crisis of this.
Because they are a crisis. She is not a crisis.
Yeah. So she's just like she's holding the to the secret. Yeah. So we basically follow the journey of each sister's pregnancy and how it clashes with the traditions of their religious Filipino-American parents. So like I said, it's kind of like a Fil-Am, Fiddler on the Roof, but pregnancies, not marriage.
So what was your road to NAMP?
Oh gosh, my road to NAMPT. We applied. Okay, let me just back up. So, as I said earlier, the show started off as a half-hour TV writing pilot sample. It was non-musical, and then I decided to one day, as an exercise, make it into a 1-hour TV pilot musical by using some of Anthony's previously released music. We had released an album about our journey as first-time parents back in 2014.
2014, yeah.
So I used some of that music and then some of his other songs that were just sitting there on the shelf because you were signed at the time with the publisher. So he had hundreds of songs just sitting there, and I decided
I literally came home one day and she's like, "So I want to make it into a musical."
It's a musical now.
It's a musical now. I'm like, okay. Let's go.
Pivot.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So we just started to reformat it. I mean, yeah, you wrote that as a musical film one, and then
a musical TV pilot.
Yeah, that's right. And then we just started to expand it from there.
So then I had a reading of it, and this was just coming out of the pandemic. I had a reading of it as that 1-hour TV musical series, and then that's when East West Players actually reached out to me. Snehal Desai, who was the producing artistic director at the time, asked me, "Hey, what is this?" And I said, "Well, what do you want it to be?" He's like, "Well, can you deliver me two act, script?" I'm like, because right now at the format, I had Bibled it out as a 2-season, 8-episode limited series.
Wow.
So he asked me for a draft.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, so I delivered the draft.
You're like, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. So that was back in
very Asian American of you.
Right. Very high functioning, which is the themes of each sister. It's like they're all very high functioning, but underneath that, there's that, high achieving, total anxiety, undiagnosed, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back in 2022, and he's like, "Great, let's apply for the writer's residency grant for NAMPT." To answer your question of my road to NAMPT.
Okay.
So then
that makes total sense.
Yeah, so we applied for the writer's residency grant, and then we got it during the 2022-2023 cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we had a reading of it, a 29-hour reading. We got the grant, and we did a 29-hour reading of it in March of 2023.
In LA.
In LA.
Yeah.
With East West Players.
East West Players.
Under the auspices of East West Players.
Yes,
Okay.
and Snehal. And then somewhere in the mix, as things happen, administrative things got changed. So
like
Snehal,
3 times.
Yeah, Snehal moved over to. We love you, Snehal, but he moved over to CTG, and we had a meeting afterwards. He said, "I think you should apply to the NAMPT Fest and see if you can get on other theaters' radars." So we applied then in 2023 to NAMPT Fest, and then we also got on Goodspeed Musicals radar, and then we got invited to do their Writers Grove.
Okay.
The Johnny Mercer Writers
Grove.
Sure. Yeah,
I have a lot of friends with
Jason
Lainey.
Ma, yeah.
And Lainey Sakakura was part of that.
Yeah, so we ended up
Christine,
doing Yep.
So
we were in that cohort.
Okay.
With Christine and Jason. That was so it was wonderful to have them in our cohort.
Yes.
Like, okay, they totally got it. And I remember presenting at Goodspeed because it's basically like writers camp. You have each writing team has a house, and then we all get to share in the living room nightly.
I love that this is the team.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember when we got to Goodspeed and we got into one of the houses, we're like, well, where's everybody
Yeah,
else?
first,
Like,
are there writing
it
teams
was like a
staying with us? 'Cause it was like-
5-bedroom house. We're like, no, that's your house. And it was
I mean, it's like the dream of a lifetime. Those
So,
kinds
yeah.
of things you
It
want to
was
have,
nice.
right?
So we spent 2 weeks there, and interestingly enough, after that 29-hour reading that we did at East West Players, Snehal gave me one very crucial note,
Okay.
and that's the note that we worked on at Goodspeed.
Okay.
So we worked on this one particular song in Act 2 about one of the pregnancy losses and pregnancy. One of the sisters makes a choice, basically, which causes friction.
Right.
So,
Well,
so
especially Filipino-American, Catholic,
yes,
religious.
So we're tackling that
issues.
Yeah. So I really wanted to, and again, it was inspired by a pregnancy loss that we had, and I just wanted to sort of tackle and normalize the conversation about women's physical and mental health.
Absolutely.
After I had that miscarriage, other girlfriends came up to me and said, yeah, I had 2, I had 3. I'm like, how did I not know this about you? It's such a lonely.
It's lonely, and there's a level of shame.
So that's what I wanted to tackle with Proud Marys.
So
Through humor.
What was your experience like last year?
It was a whirlwind. I mean, first, go ahead.
But really, with this, with the experience here at NAMT, and I remember we were talking about
it was here at New World Stages.
Yeah. And for me, it was a personally full circle because the last show that I did in New York, I was in the closing company of Rent off Broadway here. So I was working here.
Wow, you so walked around and kind of like didn't know what door you were supposed to go into depending on who you were.
Yeah, this was it was pretty cool to come back here, but the NAMT experience was honestly top of the line in every single way, shape, and form. Like we literally just all we needed to do is just focus on the creative part, and they were so nurturing and they were so accommodating that this was the first time where we could actually exhale when we did this, right?
And I love that they wanted, when you get to NAMP, they really want to support you as a writer.
Yeah.
So they intentionally have you just sit back and you're not part of
you're not stage management.
Nope,
you're
nothing.
Not company management. You
sit
don't
back.
have to get the food for people.
That's right.
But it was great that they just even from a casting standpoint, like you say, you basically handpicked each and every one of the actors, so they're very collaborative. Exactly.
And knowing the artists, like I hear these characters in a very specific way.
You hear their voices.
Yeah. So
you're probably writing for them, or
exactly
the songs that you were giving them. It was very.
So being in there was like, yep, that's exactly how I heard it, and that's exactly how these 3 titas are delivering it, and it's exactly how these 3 awesome kick-ass sisters are delivering it. So there was just a beautiful shorthand, because it's a specifically Fil-Am story, specifically a women of color-led story, and it was just nice to be in that space with these collaborators who just were like, a lot of them were like, wow, this is like therapy. And it is. Basically, I had a mentor tell me, write as if no one's going to read these pages.
Interesting.
And honestly, like for me as someone who's an ally, and just to be in that room and to I observe everybody, and there was this sense of community and ownership, and a lot of I could see that a lot of the cast members saw themselves in these stories. And
where would you like to have your world premiere?
Honestly, I've always envisioned Proud Marys as a co-production, a co-pro with, Goodspeed has been a huge ally, the Fifth Avenue Theater right now. So we're working with Bernadette Griffin, who is the managing director emeritus for the Fifth Avenue Theater.
Okay.
So she's our producing consultant right now. And then we have Fran de Leon, who's now the newly appointed artistic director at Theater Moon.
Right.
So these 2 women, they
are certainly going to champion a female-led story.
Yes, absolutely. And we were talking. We're having conversations with Michael Rubinoff. Has also been a huge supporter. He was the originating producer of Come From Away. What's wonderful about NAMT is we got to meet so many theaters that came and Summerlet Arts and Speakeasy Stage just invited us to their new partnership where they hosted a concert of new musicals called Bound for Boston. So we were on their radar, and I was getting to know Speakeasy Stage and their company. And yeah, I would love a rolling world premiere. It doesn't have to be like huge. I just want it to just have a life. Yeah, be born.
Yeah. I think giving it birth is step one, and then see where it goes from there. But we are getting ready to release an EP, a concept album.
So, who are your collaborators for the music that you were making during the pandemic?
So during the pandemic, we've been working on this musical called #America, and Jen and I conceived this, and then I wrote this with Kyle Carter and then Nick Walker. So the three of us, we were basically collaborating on this piece all the way through the pandemic, and we're able to finally, after 3 years, finish our first draft of that. So there was a lot of growth that happened for me as a musical theater writer, as a contemporary writer.
He comes from the pop world.
Yeah, I come from the pop world, but what I love about coming from the pop world is being able to sort of bring a way to bring the pop hook into a contemporary musical theater space. So so yeah, as I mentioned, I've written for film and television and other artists as well. So been writing for a while, and I, once I started writing for musical theater, honestly, I felt like it just opened me up in ways that I've never been opened
Forms
up
of
before.
expression.
Oh my gosh! And the thing is, at first it was actually really, really scary because I live and die by my pop formulas. You got to get to your hook within 30 seconds. You got to like everything for me is so. I have my pop formulas and I don't deviate from them when it comes to pop music. But in musical theater, I had to let go of that.
Yeah,
But
because you're telling a different story.
Exactly. But what I realized is that I can still bring those pop formulas into the musical theater space. I can just compartmentalize them in a different way.
Yeah, and Juliet.
So exactly. I mean,
There you go. Yes.
So once I realized how to apply the pop formulas within a musical theater context, that's when it became really, really fun. And then yeah, I mean, Jen, as she mentioned, she rated my catalog, started applying a lot of my existing songs, and then before we knew it, we were writing new songs to fit these characters and make sure that the story moves forward. And it's been a really, really cool journey, and I'm just I
We've
feel like
learned a lot about our process.
yeah. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for having us. Thank you for being here and representing our stories. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.